friends, Laura A. Grace here, the author of Dear Author, Letters from a Bookish Fangirl, Team Lines of Poetry collection, and fighting on anime devotional for OTAKUS, which is free on a variety of platforms. I'll leave a link down below in case if you'd like to check it out. Oh my goodness, I have been waiting for this kind of prompt for Top 5 Wednesday. Yes, I am here for it. I am so pumped for it, so hyped. All of the excitement. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. But in case if you're not familiar with Top 5 Wednesday, Top 5 Wednesday was formed by Lainey back in 2013. The group has now since been on Goodreads, and I'll also leave a link down below in case if you'd like to check it out. Basically, each week, our host creates a series of prompts, and on that Wednesday, we answer that prompt with 5 books, but in this case, I do manga to reflect that said prompt. And today's prompt, oh my goodness, is sports/athlete, and I am here for it. I am here for it because you guys know I love sports manga, and I have been looking for an opportunity to talk about some of my favorite sports manga. And this prompt was inspired because today is National Student Athlete Day, I believe is the name of it. Yes, I double checked, and today is National Student Athlete Day, and so this holiday is just to recognize those student athletes, because I forgot the statistic that they said, but it was like a large number. And fun fact, all of the picks that I am highlighting, all of them are students, so this totally fits today for this holiday and for sure this prompt. So should we go ahead and dive in, even though everybody I know is like, Laura, we know you're number one. And I thought about being cool and be like, you know, I'm gonna change it up. I'm not gonna say it for my number one, but no. Haikyuu has to be number one. Like, it can't be any other number but number one. So yes, of course, you guys know I love this manga so very much. I did a video review of it here. It is just hands down my all-time favorite manga/anime. I am already in desperate need of a read-through of it because I'm just like, yes, but I'm like, I have to put time aside to actually devote to start reading it. That's actually why I started like rewatching the anime, because I'm like, well, I can't do a bunch of volumes of the manga, but yeah, I could definitely do the anime, and oh, it's so good. I love these characters so very much. They're absolutely amazing, so very inspiring, but I will honestly leave it at that because I know I talk about them all the time. I talk about them on social media, talk about them in my real life, talk about them here on YouTube. They just get all of the love because I love them so very much. So Haikyuu must be number one. It's definitely the number one sports manga I would hands down recommend. I love Hinata so very much. Yes, he is my fictional senpai. He is amazing. These characters are amazing. Please go watch the anime, read the manga if you haven't already. It is a must, hands down. Now that we've established what for sure would be number one, I'm pretty excited to feature this one because I love the anime. I have yet to read the manga, but I'm definitely spotlighting it, and that is Kuroko's Basketball. Oh my goodness, if you like Haikyuu, hands down, you will probably most likely love Kuroko's Basketball. I believe the fun fact for this is that the mangaka of Kuroko's Basketball asked the mangaka of Haikyuu to teach him how to draw sweat on the guys, and he said, okay, I will, in exchange for a month of like ramen, and he agreed. So I thought that was pretty cool because there are so many similarities between Kuroko's Basketball and Haikyuu, though Kuroko's Basketball is different. But when I first watched it, well, me and my husband, when we first watched it, yeah, we definitely were like, this is just like Haikyuu. So, but as it goes on, it is different. I love it for what it is. I love Kuroko. I find a lot of similarities that he has, and him being the shadow really resonates with me, and just helping other people shine and being okay being in the background to help them shine and be the best that they can be. And Kuroko has his own amazing journey arc that I absolutely loved, and the ending is so satisfying. My husband and I recently just watched the final, I'm gonna say final season, but it wasn't the whole thing, but we watched at least half of the final season to the very end, and oh, it was so good. It was just as good as the first time I watched it. Absolutely love it, and I'm really, really excited because I am slowly but surely working on collecting this manga. In fact, I just got another omnibus today. You can't see it up there, but I believe it is 7 and 8, and I'm just like, yes, we're getting closer because my library doesn't have this series, and so I've been trying to make it a goal to slowly stack up and get them, though my goal this year is that if Right Stuff does a manga sale and they do Viz Media and this series on sale, I already told my husband, I was like, we are getting it. We're going to get the rest of it because that is literally the best way to go, because I think it was last year. Yes, there was a sale, and I was like, "Oh, no, him and Hog, it was over," and I'm like, "That was the best deal I've seen on this series." I'm like, "Oh, I wish I would've got it, wish I would've got it." So, not making that mistake again this year, because even though one thing that's very different about the manga and the anime is that in the manga, they look significantly younger, and that is, like, really disrupting at first if you're coming from the anime right into the manga. Now that some time has passed since I've seen the full anime, I don't mind it as much because it's still the same content. It's just they look different just because of like how they're drawn in the sense of where they look older in the anime and look younger in the manga. But this one is so very good. Yes, I would definitely say Kuroko's Basketball is hands down, as of right now, my second favorite sports manga slash anime. I love these characters as well, though unlike Haikyuu, okay? This has one of my least favorite villains ever. I did mention him in my favorite villains, not as my favorite villains, but in that video as, like, if you watch it, you'll know what I mean, because I highlighted my least favorite villains first, even though that wasn't part of the prompt. Yes, the guy in this manga, he was number one. There are some very compelling villains that I do not like in this manga, so that is very much different than Haikyuu for sure. You do get villainous teams that you don't like, okay? Just gonna throw that out there. So now that is out in the open, you've been warned. It's very good. I absolutely love it. Kuroko, Kagami, definitely amazing. They are an epic duo. I almost got into spoilers, so I'm going to stop there. And let's go on to number 3. For number 3, I sort of struggled with this one because outside of these two, I was like, what would be my third favorite? So I'm just going to say that these are interchangeable after this one. But I'm really excited to feature this one because I loved this manga, and that is Dive. I have not talked about Dive for a good hot minute, and I was like, Laura, you need to feature it. It's only 3 volumes. This is actually an adaptation of the anime. The last I checked, which it's been some time, the anime was on Amazon, and I really loved our main character. He definitely has that very optimistic attitude, always pushing forward, never giving up, wanting to improve as a diver, which I feel is pretty prominent in most main characters that are in sports manga. That was why, or one reason that I really liked his character, and I just loved all 3 of these guys. They are great. They're not on that cover, but it's very interesting because diving is a solo sport, but they are on the same team, yet so they're like cheering each other on, but they're also competing against each other. It was a very unique, I feel like, situation in that sense. But I loved just so in the beginning, I don't remember loving the absolute beginning. I feel like it was very fast paced and just like was rushful, and then it got to the middle and I was hooked. I gave the rest of the series 5 stars because I was so invested, and I will admit, I think it was the 3rd volume. It was the final page of the story. I definitely teared up because I was really struggling at that time. I had some stuff going on with a very dear friend, and I felt like a hot mess. We'll just say that. I felt like a hot mess, and I do have a video review of Dive up on this channel. And so this series really just spoke to my heart and brought a lot of comfort at that time. And I was rereading my review of it actually, and I love the analogy that he uses from the beginning and how it looks like in the end. It is so powerful, and maybe this is like a typical sports manga. I don't know. Somebody did call it that, and I was so sad because I was like, it's still really good. And I love just the character growth of everybody. One of these days, saying it now, I really do need to go watch the anime because I think it'd be very amazing to see the dives actually animated and, just those powerful moments, because I know Haikyuu and Kuroko's Basketball really just highlight the manga and bring it to life, and I have no doubt that Dive would be the same way. So hopefully, if you're curious, and I don't know how hard or easy it is to get the manga, to be honest. I don't know anybody that's read this series except for one person, and they dropped it after volume 1. But hopefully at least the anime is still readily available on Amazon Prime or somewhere else, or the manga. But this is one I would definitely recommend. I really, really, really love this series. And sorry for the weird video quality. I know that my videos have not all been consistent in the camera quality recently. And it's just because it has been so cloudy. Like every time I go to film, and I started filming this video because I was like, it's sunshine, and now the sunshine has gone away. So I do apologize for the camera quality getting eaten right now. But hopefully you guys are enjoying this. We're going to go ahead and go on to number 4 because I love this one, and I know I've talked so much about it recently, but I highly recommend it, and that is Run on Your New Legs. Oh my goodness, I am so hyped for this manga. I cannot wait to get volume 2. I'm actually really surprised. I was doing some research on this the other day, and this seems to be a fairly short sports series. I think it's only like 6 volumes long because it finished serializing, I think it was in like 2020. And I was like, oh, there's only 6 volumes. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this because I definitely want more of these characters. I really enjoyed all of them. It's a great cast and the art is absolutely amazing. Oh, let's go back to that page. Look at that. I love this page so much. It is just so good. The art is very great, and I just would highly recommend this. I won't go on too much about this because, like I said, I did a video review, and so I know I've talked about it a lot here recently, but it is one that is just needs all the love, needs all the attention. It definitely is going to be, I know, in my top 5, even the future for sports manga, and we will see if it's going to be in my top 5 reads of this year because I enjoyed it that much. It's just very, very good, and yeah, I definitely highly recommend this. Happy to be featuring it today in this sports video. And for number 5, last but not least, okay, so this is a digital only title, but I loved it so much I actually went and bought the Japanese volumes, if that says anything. And that is Karate Heat. I have volume 1 and then I have volume 2. At the time that I bought these, volume 3 was ridiculously priced. And I was like, no, but I was like, I will get these. Oh my goodness, I still have not gone back and finished this series, even though I loved volume 1. I love them. In fact, I compared it to them being like Hinata and Kageyama, but Kageyama being significantly nicer in this story, in this manga. Yeah, he reminds me of Kageyama, just like I said, a much nicer version. But he shares those character traits with Hinata where he's very optimistic. He always keeps trying. He does not have much going for him in the sense in the beginning. But what's really great is this young man here, I cannot remember his name, but he basically sort of adopts him at, even though they're the same age, as his disciple because he is a 6-time winning champion, and he takes him under his wing and he starts teaching him karate, and I loved it. I really, really did. The friendship vibes are so good and the art style is absolutely amazing, and we definitely have some very humorous ones as well. I really enjoyed learning more about karate in this manga. I thought it very, very fascinating, and there were some like cool, I feel like not minor, but I feel like there were some cool tips that were also sort of included to help sort of teach about karate. Of course, not like the same as if it was in like an actual teaching setting, but just one that's great that you can read. Like it talks about posture, I do remember that, and foot placement. And it was just, oh, I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm like, I know for certain I have all 3 volumes on my Kindle, and the ending of this one was so intense, and I did not get around at that time getting volume 2 because I was like, I need volume 2 to go on sale. And it did. I got it, and then I paid full price for volume 3, and here we are at least a year later, and I still have not read it. I still haven't read it. Like I said, I have a video review of this. I don't remember if I linked in the cards, but if I didn't, here it is. It is so good. And just this sort of reminds me of Dive, that maybe some people would say it's a typical shonen. It's only 3 volumes, but I love the main character and I love their friendship, and I'm a little bit nervous to see how it unfolds because I'm like, I feel it's obvious that they are going to have to go against one another, but I'm like, they're best buds. I don't want them to like go against one another whatsoever. So I have to finish reading this. Like, I don't have this directly on my must read, must finish by this year. I'm trying to finish the longer series that I've had on my shelf. Granted, saying that, like, yeah, it's been a good hot minute since I've had this on my like TBR or digital shelf. But anyway, this is one that I'm just so excited to feature today because I just remember absolutely loving Karate Heat so very much and being so powerfully moved by this story and how it impacted me, and the art, just everything about it was absolutely amazing. I loved it so, so very much. And I guess for today, I will do 2 honorable mentions. I don't know how much I'm going to go in depth about them, but I was like, we need some honorable mentions for like sports manga. I'm like, when will I get another chance to gush just purely about sports manga? So I think the first one I'm going to say is Blue Lock. I know so many people are very excited for Blue Lock to release. I read it when it first came out digitally, and Blue Lock it's so different than any of these titles I've shared. In fact, I had a little bit of a love-hate relationship with Blue Lock because it's very good. But the things I love about sports manga, it cancels those out and is like, no, we don't need that. We're going to introduce a new genre of sorts within the sports genre, where it's very much on self and very much on being your best for your best. Not for the sake of your team, not for the sake of anybody else, but just so you can win and you can get the glory. I don't like that. That goes against, like I said, the things with Haikyuu and Kuroko's basketball. No, don't go against those things. And the one guy that is sort of like the organizer of this, because it's very much, in my opinion, it's Hunger Games meets soccer, but without the death. The death would just be the death of your future soccer career. So there's a lot at stake, but man, there are some very good plot twists in the first volume. That's as far as I've read. I do hope, even though I'm like, oh, you're killing me with this, no pun intended, I'm like, oh, I want to know what happens, because I'm like, there's just so much on the line. Like, even though I'm like, why are you taking out my favorite things about the sports genre? But let's go into another one that does have those sports overtones I absolutely love, and that is Medalist. This is a digital manga from Kodansha, and I do have a video review of this one as well, or I'll leave it down below. I don't know if I did my 5 cards yet, but that was very good, and it was very intense, and it does remind me of Blue Lock in the sense that it is a darker sports manga. Yes, Blue Lock doesn't have those quite overly optimistic characters as the other manga that I've mentioned today. Medalist does, but it is overshadowed. There's a lot of pressure because our main girl, well, we have 2 main characters, but the younger one is very young. I mean, I think she's like 11 years old, and so you're seeing the pressure that other, like her peers, are basically undergoing to be the best, to compete in ice skating at an Olympian level. And then you see from the other main character, who is, we'll just say in his 30s, young 30s, I think he's actually in like his mid-20s, but somewhere in that age range, and he was not able to be an Olympian. And so you're sort of seeing him in the aftermath of things that are happening, and they make the most epic and amazing combination for that story. There's just, there was a lot to it, and it definitely teaches you, I feel like, a pretty good bit about ice skating. I read that manga about the same time that I read Blue Period, and so I felt like both of those manga, I mean, yes, they're manga and they're entertainment, but they definitely have some educational stuff in it, which is very, very cool. So if you do like that in your manga, Medalist would be one I would strongly recommend, because that was very good, and it's like Blue Lock in a sense. I feel like I would say it's more realistic like Blue Lock, but that doesn't feel accurate, but it's very realistic when it comes to the manga Medalist. And I guess we will stop there. We will wrap up the sports manga recommendation, but I hope that you guys really enjoyed them. As you guys can see, I loved all of these manga, including Blue Lock, even if it's not quite as like hyped as I do like Haikyuu and Kuroko's basketball, but it was still really good, and I hope that you guys discovered some new sports manga, or just like, yes, that is an amazing sports manga. I would love to hear from you, friends. Do you guys enjoy reading sports manga? Do you like watching sports? You know, if you don't like it, that's totally okay. What are some other hobbies that you enjoy reading or watching? I would love to hear from you, friends. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!